Hey guys, welcome to the Canada Puck Podcast, your weekly recap of what's going on in the world of sports, specifically in hockey, and specifically focusing on just what's going on in Canada, nowhere else in the world. Now we look at other stuff too. But we were doing lots of Canada stuff at some point. I'm your co-host Mick. You can find me on Twitter at ProfitMick, and the big guy upstairs always joins me as well.
Grant on Twitter at Fourth Line Sports. Maybe the Canada Puck brand isn't working. Maybe we need to cover the German Elite League, the Deutschland Elite Hockey League. Maybe we could be the DEL podcast or something along those lines.
You speaking the Dutch?
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good. That's some. I don't even know if that's German because Dutch sounds kind of like Dutch, but
sounded a little English there too.
Yeah, they speak in the Dutch. That's all I got. That's nope, can't do it. Nope.
All right. Well, we'll find a language that we can cover. Maybe there's a cool Scottish league. We could do like Scottish Broods. Good. No. Find another Englisher league.
All right, that's it. We just find that other English league in the world, and we could be there. I feel like we could do like a Sweden. Like Sweden has that kind of nice, like everyone there just speaks English because they're probably very well educated people, so we could fit right in. Like they would adapt to us, so that's nice.
They're very accommodating people.
Yeah, you ignorant fucks. We will just listen to you. Like, yeah.
Cool, man. Well, we carved out our hole in Sweden, or at least we hope we have.
Hopefully. Yeah, nice. So if this is your first episode, maybe you're returning, we're going to run through some headlines, just cover up kind of what's going on in the last two series in the Stanley Cup semifinals. We have some Bettor Advice. We're going to do some gambling advice for you guys. We got some FanDuel lineups. And I think we've got Canada Puck Jeopardy at the end of the show. So, Babe of the Week. Oof, man, can't wait.
God damn, I forgot about Jeopardy. I was supposed to get ready for this. I didn't get ready for this, Mick. In fact, I'm a little hungover.
That sucks. Well, I mean, the only reason I do that is because Grant is the best person I've ever heard at thinking out loud. So stick around to the end because you're going to listen to a man's brain go a mile a minute while he's hungover. It's going to be worth it, so.
Yeah, you know what? That is a treat. Thank you for marketing me as less of a slob than I actually am.
Oh, that's all I got going. That's all we got going. So, without, I guess, further ado, got to jump into headlines, don't we? That's where we're at.
Time to start shooting from the hip. Here we go. A week of hockey. We've had a week of hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Two series are going on. Do we have any other headlines, or are we jumping right into?
Yeah, let's just think about this quick. So we've got some, I like the NHL, I hate the NHL awards, the show, the spectacle, it's dumb to me. I like when they announce winners of awards periodically throughout the week to keep the news cycle going. I think that's better for content, right? So you get randomly that Barkov winning the Selke, I think that happened yesterday or something like that. We got Brindamore getting the Jack Adams for Coach of the Year, right? I like when those kind of breakouts, like, systematically kind of throughout the week. It gives you talking points, something to look up, an article to read or something like that. So I like that. Then there's lots of trade speculation, right? That's kind of...
I gotta say, I'm on the opposite side of that coin, because I had no idea they handed out the Selke or the Jack Adams. I saw Mark Bergevin was nominated for GM of the Year. Maybe I'm a big news guy. It's hard for me to keep up these days. You gotta wow me, Mick. You have to suck me in like a moth to the flame to your cool shows. Otherwise, I don't care. I don't care if you announce a Selke winner on a Friday. Fuck, man. I got stuff to do.
Well, so then I think that discredits kind of the NHL news cycle and how we digest news and where it comes from. So I think those guys out there, the Chris Johnsons of the world, the Friedmans, those guys got to get on there and get like to that Wojnarowski kind of level and like drop Woj bombs. Like we need Fried bombs coming through Canada to NHL to like build up the intensity, right? So I think it's on those guys, like that high level, that first level media source. They got to kind of pick up their game. So that's really the discrepancy we're seeing is.
Yeah, I think the best part about Woj bombs is like he knows like the minute that it's like the team texts Woj as soon as they make a pick or a draft somebody or they knew who they're drafting or they're going to trade somebody. They're like, why don't we just send this over to Adrian Wojnarowski? alphabet soup there, and we'll leak this onto the internet to get a feed to see what other people think, and then we'll do what we actually want to do.
Here we go. So it has been announced this last week. There was... Yeah, they were announcing a winner kind of every day, looks like. So Selke, Jack Adams. All right, there we go. Today we're going to get the Lady Bing Trophy Award announcements. So between Matthews, Slavin, and Jared Spurgeon. So we'll see who takes on that fine award. Tomorrow you can see the General Manager of the Year award being announced.
But hey, hang on. Are we just going to gloss over that Austin Matthews is nominated for the Lady Bing? Like, the most gentlemanly player who exposed his bare ass to a female taxi driver is on, like, the top 3 list for most gentlemanly player?
Lady Bing Trophy.
Please tell me I'm not wrong in thinking this is a little fucked.
A judge to exhibit the best type of sportsmanship and gentlemanly conduct combined with a high standard of ability of play. I'm guessing that means during the NHL games. It doesn't stand for off-ice conduct, like, come on.
All right, yeah. Let's limit our gentlemanly play to the on-ice here, guys.
Who won the Lady Bing Award last year?
Was it Johnny Gaudreau? I think Johnny Gaudreau's won it at one point.
Apparently it was Nathan McKinnon. Huh. I don't care.
Yeah. That summarizes my feelings on this.
Gaudreau did get one. Kopitar, William Karlsson, Gary Hudler, Ryan O'Reilly. I feel like Ryan O'Reilly, didn't he have an incident where he was really drunk and he ran into a Tim Hortons or something like that?
That could be any NHL hockey player, I would assume.
All right.
But doesn't Ryan O'Reilly have a track record for being kind of a dick on the ice too? Like, if I'm thinking about playoff truculence, I'm thinking Ryan O'Reilly might be the guy to, like, give me an edge in the playoffs. I don't picture him as a gentlemanly player.
I mean, you could be a good sport and gentlemanly and still be a dick, right? Like,
that's a fucking delicate balance. Maybe you can, but I gotta say, you're straddling a very fine line on that.
Yeah, that's true. All right, that's kind of off ice. I'm not a big fan of trade rumors and speculations, so just leave those.
You know what? I was thinking, like, this was rumors, if I was hearing rumors about who's going to win awards, like your Woj-Bombs idea, Friedbomb's idea, maybe, I would be into it. I'd be like, oh, fuck yeah. It makes me feel like I got the inside track on something that hasn't happened yet. But if the NHL's just trying to tell me something, like, fuck yourself. I don't care what you have to say.
All right. Fuck you, NHL.
Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Maybe that's just him. Do you care what series we start with?
Why don't we start with tonight's game, and we can save the Canada puck content for last.
All right, and there we go. So we've got the New York Islanders trying to stave off elimination. Well, pre-elimination tonight by evening up the series against the Tampa Bay Lightning after falling 2-1 on Thursday night. Man, those Bolts.
I got to say something before we even get into this series. People don't understand what must-win means. Everybody's branding this as a must-win game. Do you understand what must-win means? They don't must-win need to anything.
It's true.
This is just a don't put your back up against the wall win situation, not a you have to win this game or you're going home. But anyways, tangent notwithstanding.
Oh, I'm taking that as a personal affront because I called it a must-win game. It's a pre-elimination game.
You stopped short. Oh, okay. Credit where credit is due. Okay, you did not call it must-win.
Okay, that's good.
But then
that's good.
I was reading on the internet this morning, it's a must-win game. No, it's not, guys. It's not a must-win game. No. I mean, pre-elimination, yes.
Technically, every game is a must-win. Like, by that standard, right? Like, if they lose this is going to happen. You're like, you're right. They'll be down 4 points in the standing. I guess it is a must-win. Like, they probably should try and win them all. They're professionals. We've been I think yesterday or last week, we both had these guys going over. We really thought that was going to happen. The Lightning and the Islanders, goaltending, defense, not in the playbook, all offense. did not happen in game 1. I think it probably went over in game 2, and then it was a quiet 2-1 affair on that Thursday night. So I'm guessing there's probably not going to be a lot of offense tonight.
Yeah, and I think what's not reflected in the series price or the series lead that the Lightning have is that New York has been the better team at 5-on-5, and it's if not for the extra man, like that is giving Tampa and their skill forwards room to operate either on the power play or at 4-on-4, the Islanders have been the better team. If you look at the metrics, they've posted an expected goals for percentage above 50% in all 3 games, and they've limited the Bolts to 9 or fewer, maybe it's even 8 or fewer high danger chances at 5-on-5 in every game. And if we think back to game 1, it wasn't until the Bolts had a 6-on-4 advantage with less than a minute to go where they finally broke through, and it was a similar, it was a longer collapse, but the Islanders shot themselves in the foot in game 2 of that series. I didn't watch game 3, so I can't speak to any of that. But when you give Tampa room to operate, they are going to make you pay, and that's been the case. Like, just fuck. And you saw it. I did look at the box score. They only took 1 penalty, so it was 1 power play for the Lightning, and it was the Islanders' best effort in game 3. Their expected goals for percentage was like 66 something. So they have the blueprint for beating the Lightning. It's just a matter of following it and not taking stupid penalties.
Yeah. All right. So that's kind of where we're at tonight. Do you have any inklings? Where's your meter going for this one? Are we seeing it going to be a long series? Is Tampa Bay going to pull one out? Send it to a must-win game on Monday?
So I stand by my initial thoughts on this series, and that is we've seen the Islanders be the better team, and now they have the advantage of home ice. Like, when I see what they've done through the first 3 games, and particularly in game 3 where they were the better team, I still have faith in the Islanders. And I guess what validates this is that Tampa has been lucky. And I use the PDO, and most people will use the PDO metric to kind of gauge luck, and that is as your PDO skyrockets past 1, you're getting pretty lucky. Like, you're getting a little bit of everything, and you're getting that timeliness. And you saw this with the Avalanche last series against the Golden Knights, where they had the highest PDO in the playoffs. And guess what? It was one shitty bounce, one shitty behind the net goal that turned that entire series. And I'm not saying that the Lightning are susceptible to similar collapse, but I am saying that they are susceptible to those similar bounces that could give the Islanders an advantage to make this longer than a 5-game series. And I really, sincerely, I believe we're heading towards that. So I do think the Islanders on home ice have been one of the better teams in the postseason, and I do think that continues tonight. So maybe it's a bad bounce, maybe it's a stanchion bounce, maybe, it's like Marc-Andre Fleury fucking himself in foreshadowing last night, but they are a bad bounce away from not being where they are.
Yeah, gonna be a close affair, I think, is what we're calling that one. So, cool. All right, that leads us to, like Grant kind of just alluded, last night's game. The Montreal Canadiens, an overtime thriller, go up 2-1 against the Vegas Knights. The perennial juggernauts, all the money in the world is backing the Knights right now, so the gambling Vegas is happy either way. Isn't that the thing? Like, regardless what happens, Vegas usually wins, so...
Yeah, you know what? That's probably the right angle to take this series, because Vegas, no matter what happens, Vegas will be happy. But, man, there's a few things that we have to unpack from last night's discussion. First of all, let's start with the coach. Dominic Ducharme tested positive for COVID, and they still let the game go on. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? Seeing where we were last year, was this a good decision?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn. I mean, every other player and staff player, all the tests came back negative. So, I mean, in theory, it was a one-off occurrence. Maybe he picked it out outside the arena. I mean, there's such a thing as the the wrong result of a test, right? So I mean, maybe if he gets tested again, like I don't know if he gets like if once you're tested for COVID, if you just have it, or if it's just kind of one of those weird blips or something, and like, oh, it was just a false test or something, and we were just being cautious, kind of keeping him out of the room, right? So kind of going forward with that, I think their hands were strung, right? Like if they didn't have protocols in place, if this happened, like they just kind of have to follow the protocols, unfortunately, right? Like as soon as you drop the Plinko ball, it just kind of goes down this route. There's no variance, and I think they're kind of just sort of hamstrung by their own like litigation, I guess, on that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and maybe that false positive didn't even creep into my mind. But now that you mention it, I do think that there were a couple instances throughout the season where coaches had to sit out, but they came back just false positive. And I wasn't. Maybe they spoke about this in the intermission last night, but I unfortunately wasn't watching the game, so I don't know the specifics of the test and whether or not there is some like validity to him like legitimately having this or not having this. So it's just fucky, man. Like what I'm worst case scenario now. I'm thinking, what if there is an outbreak on the Habs and they played game 3 under these circumstances? When does the series resume if they have to fucking kibosh it? We saw with the Vancouver Canucks, how long was that? That was at least 3 weeks. Could you imagine having to pause the NHL playoffs for 3 weeks?
I think you just go with it. Like I think unfortunately the guys that have COVID get kicked out, right? So we're seeing a similar incident right now with Phoenix in the NBA where Chris Paul has been tested positive for COVID and he's out for X amount of time, right? Like it's kind of an indefinite amount of point. So I don't know when he is resumed to play. And I think because it is just like a small sample size, I do wonder if they can change things up right now. But I mean, like if let's say the top ice or like top 4 defensemen for the Canadians that play 45 minutes a game or something all get COVID, I think the show goes on, like I think they get their ass kicked for a little while, right? Like,
all right, I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat here because I thought maybe with the Habs, whatever. But now that it's a 2-league thing and both leagues, I know how much the league hates Chris Paul. I love Chris Paul because he's my type of dude.
Yeah.
However, I know how much the league hates the Montreal Canadiens too. So maybe this is, and like if you look, 2 game 7s tomorrow, I believe. I believe we get the, or no, is it? Oh no, it's 1 game 7 tonight, 1 game 7 tomorrow.
Yeah.
But they gave the Phoenix Suns and Los Angeles Clippers the start ahead of game 7 between Philly and Atlanta. Why? Why would you do that? Like, let game 7 be the game 7 that everybody focuses on. Don't force this other series to start in advance. But like now that I think about this, is Chris Paul's not playing. At least he probably won't be eligible to play. Feels like the NBA is trying to fist the Suns here a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe that was Gary Bettman's goal here with the Habs too. Like, you know what? Fuck it. If we have to continue playing this series and you guys drop like flies, bring up your AHL team.
Yeah. But I mean, also, I don't know if, like, shouldn't he have been vaccinated? Right?
Is Chris Paul an anti-vaxxer?
No, but like, I mean, Ducharme, like aren't all the NHL players, weren't they all vaccinated at some point?
I think that what I remember reading was players had to follow the similar cues as everyone else.
Okay.
And I know that in Alberta, I don't have both vaccines.
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe if Quebec's it further ahead, I don't know.
But like they were able to travel, right? Like they were able to travel from Montreal to Vegas, right? So they were able to cross a border. I mean, I guess you can do that by plane, right? I don't know. I mean, really, the question should be is what kind of activity was Ducharme up to in Vegas that got him a dose of the 19? Like.
I can think of a few ways to catch it in Vegas.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, like, there's some nice establishments that have, like, the hand sanitizer by the door or something like that. So, like, what kind of grubby establishment did he find himself in? Some back room somewhere where there's just, like, a boy danced dressed up as a pony or something that he's watching. Like, that's what I want to know is, like, what is Ducharme doing in his free time that he missed the hand sani at the door?
Spit in my mouth and call me beautiful.
Sir, that's just not allowed. He's like, I got French money, guys. I have the bells, like Molson, Jeff Molson money. Come on. Jeff Molson. Yeah, so I mean, I've a thought last night occurred to me as I'm watching this series. I think the Montreal Canadiens aren't a good hockey team. Like, I realize they're 6 wins away from a Stanley Cup. I still don't think they're great. Their power play is uninspiring. Their coaching doesn't look great. I don't think Marc Bergevin has built a quality team. If you can sit here and genuinely tell me that the Montreal Canadiens have been built well and that trades, if we go back over the last 5-6 years, they've made good trades. They haven't. This team sucks. They still suck. But what we're seeing and what we're witnessing, and if you're on my mindset, I can't, that's how I feel. I can't help it. But you are missing the point. What you're not witnessing a bad hockey team. What you're witnessing is a man, Carey Theodore Roosevelt Price, put a team on his back. Put a province on his back. No, a country, a damn nation is on his back. And what he's saying is, I got this, boys. We are seeing some of the most inspired play ever from a man named Carey Price. So regardless how you feel about the Canadiens, regardless how you feel about their just abysmal power play, you have to respect the man Carey Price. And you should be rooting for him, independent of your allegiance to this team. Because that's not a win for the Canadiens organization. It's not a win for the North Division. This is a win for a man named Carey. I was going to throw some other middle names in there, but nothing came up. Carey Price. So that's what we should be watching, rooting for, cheering for, is a beloved icon.
Fuck you, Mick. I had Carey Price. I called dibs on Carey Price years ago. Fuck you. Beat it.
But did you give a rant on this episode and give him a funny middle name? No.
You know what? I wholeheartedly believed you for a second, too. I was like, I didn't know Carey Price's middle name was Theodore. And then you threw in the Roosevelt. I was like,
No, I don't think that's right.
That doesn't sound right.
Oh, let's see. Carey Price.
But goddamn. And you know what the best part about the Montreal or watching Carey Price play is? We haven't even seen how great he can be. Let's not diminish his performances. But, last night's goals weren't outstanding.
No.
He let in 2, and granted, Eric Stahl fisted him on the first one, but that second goal was questionable. Could you imagine Carey Price as unbeatable Carey Price? Because hypothetically, he could have stopped both those goals. We could be talking about a Carey Price who allows 2 goals in a 6-game series, and they win 4-2. That's what I'm picturing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's the amount of times that we've seen this team just collapse around him, right? Think of all the iterations of the Habs teams that have existed over the last 14 years or something like that have just been god awful. And Carey Price finally just decided to pick his pants. He's like, I got this. Literally what we're seeing is one man try and single-handedly win a Stanley Cup. And it is inspiring, right? There's some supporting characters out there that are doing a thing sometimes, right? And there's some flashes of brilliance. But at one point, they were outshot 19-3 at the start of the second. That's how? How is that even close at that point, right? 3 shots on goal. It's just one of those things where you have to kind of revel in it, watch it, enjoy it, because I think this is one of the once in a lifetime moments, right? Somebody is Price is obviously focused right now, and we'll see if we can kind of if he wavers at all. I think they're done. So
you kind of have to assume that if Carey Price isn't Carey Price, the Montreal Canadiens are nowhere close to where they are right now.
Not at all. There
was an analogous situation that I think will concern the Vegas Golden Knights. And I mentioned it when we were discussing Tampa Bay and New York. But what allowed the Vegas Golden Knights to get back into their series with the Avs was that shitty bounce. From there was no recovering. And it's not that the team collapsed, but their luck ran out. Vegas isn't as high on the PDO spectrum as the Avalanche were. But they did get that shitty bounce when Marc-Andre Fleury lost the puck. It got tangled in his feet and it shot in front of the net for whoever was it, Anderson to Barrie.
Yeah.
We just saw this play out last round. We literally just witnessed it. Is this the start of the end for the Golden Knights? Is this the point where we look back to and say, here, if you wouldn't have not fucked this up, you would be taking a 2-1 series lead into Game 4 and yada, 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 narrative. What are the Golden Knights' chances of coming back? Do they take Game 4 and make this a tighter series? Or do they fall into a deficit? And are we talking about the Montreal Canadiens as Stanley Cup finalists?
Yeah, so I'm just double checking here quick. I'm seeing an absent, lots of names that are absent from the score sheet, right? Like just quickly looking at the box score. The last 3 goals from the Knights have been scored by Alex Pectorangelo. Well, that's not true because I guess someone else scored. But I mean, we're seeing Pectorangelo's name pop up. So there's a lot of guys out there, like the Max Pacioretty of the world. What's he doing? Right? Like, where is his names? Where are those other guys? Where are the Carlsons? Where are the Tucks? Like, I do think that there's a lot of depth for the Vegas Knights, and I do think eventually it's going to kind of start rolling the other way at some point too. So,
you mentioned a name that we have to talk about. That's Max Pacioretty. So in Game 1 of this series, Max Pacioretty was he embraced this role of maybe villain. Mm-hmm. Like, he was trying to be like pest, there was like this questionable hit, I can't remember on who it was, but basically kind of got his elbow up on somebody, jerked their head back, and he also started getting into it with Corey Perry. I think that was even in the first. And it looked like Perry wanted to have a go with him. And this was right off a neutral zone faceoff. I can't remember what led up to it, but there was an incident that led up to it. Nothing came of it. Like, it doesn't feel, at least from my experience watching this series, it doesn't feel like Max Pacioretty's trying to play Max Pacioretty hockey. Like, don't be a pest. Like, if you're going to fucking try and get under somebody's skin, at least have the courtesy of having to go with him. Like, you fucking try and egg on Corey Perry, and then he's like, all right, well, let's sort this out. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, fuck, why'd you start doing this? Like, and maybe that's detracting from the Knights' chances. Maybe Max Pacioretty is not trying to be this super skilled forward that, can pot goals. Maybe he's trying to beat the Habs at their own game, and is obviously not working.
Yeah. I mean, what we've seen for both teams, I think, and they were saying during the broadcast, is Vegas, they had the most points, but they did go through a couple scoreless droughts during the season. So, I mean, unfortunately, they find themselves on that end in the series. They could be done, but I also think that Canadians are a little bit up and down, too, in terms of their scoring. And in terms of just the physicality that's coming at the Canadians right now, I don't know if they have the bodies. Like, I think Jeff Petrie might be legally dead. I think his head just exploded, and he's just like, his neurons are just kind of firing. Corey Perry's got roughed up. I mean, we saw Nick Suzuki just get absolutely destroyed last night, right? So, I mean, the physicality that the Vegas brings to the table, I think eventually will wear down the Canadians. And I don't know what the series price looks like right now, but in terms of like a long series, this might be like a 6-7 game kind of series, grind it out. And I don't know if the Canadians have the bodies, right? Like, especially with those skill guys, like, they're small. Like the Cole Caulfields of the world, you hit Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, also, and those guys are going to not want to play in those rough spots on the ice.
Series price currently Habs plus 182, Golden Knights minus 148.
So, I mean, it's coming down, right? But I mean, again, it's one of those things. I think the physicality favors Vegas. They seem like they're a little bit bigger. They like to bang a little bit more. So,
you know what I was disappointed in? There was a lot of Jeff Petrie memes after Game 2 when he came back with whatever the hell was going on with him. Like you said, back from the dead. I didn't see one mountain meme, but that's immediately where my head went from Game of Thrones. Like, they resurrected this guy, and his eyes were bloodshot. Mm-hmm. He looked like some sort of zombie version of himself. There's got to be somebody out there who's internet or graphic design savvy, who can build us like a Jeff Petrie as the Mountain from Game of Thrones. That's what I think I missed this week.
Interesting. So we're thinking like this is like a Mountain versus the Viper type of fight, and like Jeff Petrie looks dead. He's on the ground. You're walking around. You're talking shit, and then, yikes! All right.
Okay. The question is, whose head is he gonna pop off?
Mark Stone's, obviously.
Sorry, Mark. Sorry, Marky Mark. Sorry. Say bye to that melon.
No! Yeah, that's still one of those, like, fuck, that was weird. But that's all my thoughts. That's all I've got on the two current theories outside of, like, I guess, where I want to put my money. But do you have anything else to add to kind of either of the series that are going on? Which I guess will probably be over by the time we talk next, right?
It very well could be. I have two things to add. The best way for this series to end for the Habs is to get it over quickly. The longer you prolong this, the more likely Vegas is going to come to.
100%. Like, I know we were just ragging on people that call things must wins. Tomorrow's game for the Habs is kind of must win. Like, you don't win tomorrow, you're probably not taking the series, right? Like, it probably does get close to it, to, like, don't want it to be a long series, so.
Yeah, anytime Montreal's got their one road win they needed in this series, guess what? They just need 3 home wins.
That's it. Cool. So with that, we're all cut up. Done. Easy. Do you want to gamble, or do you want to talk about fantasy?
Let's do fantasy. I don't know why. It just feels more natural. Maybe it's because we did that for most of the year. Let's stick with fantasy. It's working. At least from my personal experience. Talking about it first has been this good luck charm. Maybe that's let me have a little bit more success than I had earlier in the season. So
we want to get into my dirty fantasy.
Maybe we should preface this as then that we encountered some technical difficulties with last week's podcast. The YouTube episode did get up. You probably could make out at least some of what we were talking about then, because most of the issues were resolved by the end of the podcast. But the audio did not get up. It might get up. You might get a 2-for-1 today. We'll see. However, I think we both did okay last week with our No, you didn't?
Oh, gosh. I got it up now. It was my history yesterday. I got Braden Point as my captain. He got me 23.55 points. That's not terrible. Everyone else, awful. Kucherov, 10 points. Tyler Johnson, 3.2. Kyle Barmari, 3.2. And Anthony Cizzarelli, 3.2. So I ended up 27th out of 50, and I got 0 doll hairs. Son of a gun.
Shoot. I thought maybe I'm thinking 2 weeks ago, but that was a money back situation. Anyways, I did all right last week. 57.3 points, which was good enough for 94th out of 1,190. I was sitting pretty until there was there a flurry of goals at the end? I think it was 1-0, and then there was those 2 goals with like less than 10 minutes to go-ish.
Yeah, something like that.
That's where I started to fall. But leading up to that, I was sitting at like plus $10. I ended up winning $250. Well, I guess $150. My take home was $250 off my $1 wager. Anthony Beauvillier, captain, 14.4 points. Meh. Barclay Goodrow, 4.8. Meh. Scott Mayfield, Nikita Kucherov, both around 10, and then Matthew Barzal, 16. So it was the consistent piece that I think helped me get up to the money threshold. If I just wouldn't have blown my load on Barclay Goodrow, I thought first he was good enough for a first. He was good enough for me. No, he wasn't good enough for me. Could have had a different outcome. But get this. Max win, if you would have had 77.8 points, you would have won that tournament and taken home $100. Like, that's a low-scoring tournament.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it was one game. It was 2-1. So, like, you know.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, like, I don't think there was too much diversity. Well, there's not a lot of diversity going on in these lineup anyways, right? Like, you kind of get stuck with 1 or 2, maybe 3 high-end guys, and then you're bottom, like, scraping the barrel, right? So, and that was my strategy this week.
All right. Well, again, we're single game slates only until October now. 5 people rosters, 1 captain for utility. Who are you looking at today, Mick?
He's gonna. I mean, I have a sneaking suspicion the Tampa Bay Lightning are gonna win the Stanley Cup again. I don't know. Just like my heart, if I had an instinct and I had to put my money, like my life on the line, I'm thinking it's going to be Tampa Bay. I think they just have the horses in the race. We kind of like this narrative that they're the villains now. You know, they're $15 million over the cap. How is this allowed type thing? I don't know. I think we need a good villain to win, and I think that's kind of where we're headed in this kind of this dark world that we live in. So with that being said, the man himself, he's scoring a point a game. Nikita Kucherov, easy money. I want that multiplier on him at $14,500. I'm going to take Matthew Barzal as well as Brock Nelson just to get some Islanders scoring. If goals get scored, you often see those names pop up. And then my bottom barrel guys are Andre Palat at $8,500 and Mikhail Sergachev at $7,000. Because after Sergachev, there is literally no one I've ever heard of before. So if we scroll down on the list, like once you get past that, like what, $7,000 threshold, I've never heard of some of these people. Like Russ Colton, I don't know who that is.
That could have been a guy we had a beer with at a bar one time. Never would have known he was a hockey player.
Kiefer Bellows, which I believe was one of the joke answers on Celebrity Jeopardy from SNL back in the day. So
that was Brian Bellows.
Oh, Brian Bellows. Yeah, like it's just absolutely. Oh, Travis Zajac for $6,000. That's interesting.
He's bringing some truculence, like that. There's playoff truculence in Travis Zajac. Who was he? He mounted somebody. He was dry humping the shit out of somebody at the end of game 2. I can't remember who it was.
All right, so as I'm looking, why don't you tell us yours? I'm going to keep playing with mine and just see if there's any changes that pop up.
You know what? You said Travis Zajac and my ears lit up because let me just edit my lineup here. So I have a different opinion on the game tonight than you do, and that is, I mentioned it earlier. The Islanders have been the better team, and I know that we've seen them come out better in Game 3 with home ice advantage. I expect that to continue. So I have three Islanders. That is, I've loaded up Matthew Barzal, my captain spot, 13,500. I've attached Jean-Gabriel Pageau, 8,500, as well as Jordan Eberle skates on the line with Barzal. He's as close to my heart as Carey Price is. Not quite as close. Almost as close for 12.5. And that left me 2 spots where I was like, you know what, I'm going to play. I'm not going to put all my eggs in the Islanders basket. I went Andre Palat as much as like you, $8,500 for a first-line winger. Like that feels right. And that left me a good chunk of change for Victor Hedman at $12,000. He does everything. Like, he gets power play minutes, he blocks shots, he gets clappers from the point, average of 14.17 FanDuel fantasy points per game. Yeah, you get your money's worth with Victor Hedman. But Travis Zajac, I have Jean-Gabriel Pageau, who is actually the Islanders' leading point scorer this postseason. He skates on a line with Travis Zajac. So now I'm just trying to figure, do I take out Palat, put in Zajac, maybe I take out Hedman? That gives me some more salary to take out Palat, go a little higher.
Yeah. So, I mean, what the viewers saw, listeners not so much, I just tinkered around with that. So I took whoever I had before. I wasn't obviously that sold because now that they're gone, they don't exist anymore. I have Travis Zajac for $6,000. Leo Komarov, who's projected on the first line with the Eberles and the Barzal for $6,000. Okay. I was able to get Braden Point in my lineup, upgrade over Brock Nelson, so I now have 4 guys that play on the first 2 lines on these teams, plus Mr. Travis Zajac. It's not terrible. So I've got Kucherov, my captain, Braden Point, top 2 guys on the list, Matthew Barzal as well, and then followed up by Leo Komarov and Travis Zajac. So a little bit of tinkering. I think I found something.
You've inspired me. It doesn't get me where I want to be, but I pulled a similar move, and that is loading up on first-line talent. So that is Matthew Barzal, Jordan Eberle. I also have Jean-Gabriel Pageau and Travis Zajac from the third line. I don't know why. I had a feeling about Pageau this morning, but I'm not going to fight it.
Yep.
And that left me enough space for Nikita Kucherov.
Sweet.
So 4 Islanders, 1 Lightning, but it's the best Lightning player, at least in my opinion.
Like going from Hedman to Kucherov is a big jump. So nice. So there you go. And again, find a buddy that you like talking sports with. That's the best way to hammer these out, because I think when we've been the most successful is when we make the changes kind of in between our conversations, right? So this part of the conversation is actually the most valuable part. It's not so much the advice, it's how we get there, and you're seeing the process in place. So, and not the process as in the Philadelphia 76ers, who absolutely just suck. So
yeah, we're not going to all go down to an injury. At least I don't think we're both going to go down to injuries here when we're needed most.
Oh man, like it just it's painful. It's very painful. Although it makes me very proud that the Toronto Raptors were able to get that championship in 2019, because you see just how fleeting these like pockets of NBA, like the title opportunities are. It's just like
yeah,
Portland, You know, like you look at all those teams like the Portland, the Sixers, the Bucks, they may never get there. And these teams are just stacked and they're built really well. And the fact the Raptors were able to like get that momentum, take the leap, and now they've kind of fallen back down.
You've mentioned this before, though. You would rather have that. You would rather fly into the sun and come crashing down than to always be close.
100%. I mean, like, you look at, like, almost the Canadians, right? Like, the Canadians win the Cup this year, and then they're just shit for the next 20 years because, like, they've just done terrible trades, and it kind of catches up, and they've got no prospects in the system, you know? Like, you take that. You take that. The little things in life, so. Not everyone can be the Tampa Bay Lightning, so.
No, it takes too much effort to cheat that hard.
It's hard. It's hard to mitigate. Hey, Belichick was doing it for years, you know? Like, he's the best ever, so. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That's what they say.
That's what they're saying.
But we have wrapped our My Dirty Fantasy segment, leaving us with a few segments to go, and we normally transition straight over to Bettor Advice, and that's where we're headed today. We take 100 theoretical dollars, and we see what we can turn it into. It's been kind of a rough postseason for me. I was hammering through things in the regular season and doing just fine, and it hasn't even. It's just been this last two series. Like, I don't know. I had the over that didn't work out last week. I also had put was it $50? I can't remember. I'll have to go
you
back.
You had the Islanders winning. I think you had the Islanders because you had the over and the Islanders. So you got your money back.
But I took them on the series. I didn't take them in the game. I took them 225 to win the series.
That's unfortunate.
So that was, and now they're plus 390. So fuck me. Like, I'm not going to double down now as much as I want to. So now I've taken a different approach to tonight's game, and that is for our. Maybe before we get there, how did you do last week with your picks?
I believe I had the over as well, which is a bad sign when we both agree so wholeheartedly. Should have known, so that was out the window. But I did $50 on Vegas to win by 2 goals at like plus 105 or something. It was a very, very abysmal little bet. But essentially I made like $250.
Better than losing money.
Oh, I mean, at this point, when you're playing with, like, you have to take all $100 and bet it each week, the fact that you can just keep that $100, like, in your pocket and you have a little bit of profit is worth it. So you don't want to be in a hole by, like, $800 at some point.
Yeah, take that.
Oof.
I have 2 picks tonight. Obviously, we're only talking about one game. I'm staying out of the futures market today, although I talked about last week taking the Habs. I didn't do it. Kind of regretting that because that was the play to make. However, I have my typical Saturday night play. You want to hear something? I all week have been preaching about we're going to see an overtime game. We're going to see an overtime game. Didn't see it through the first 5 games. So that is 2 in Vegas, 3 in Tampa. No overtime games. Guess who took the night off last night from betting overtime? Yeah, fuck me, right? So I have taken the Tampa Bay Lightning at New York Islanders, $30 at plus 290. I know that the universe is just going to make me fucking regret this. So I've also taken the Islanders at plus 114. The price has come down a little bit. It opened at plus 118. And that's where my real money ended up. But for current value, plus 114 is what we're getting. So $70 on that to potentially win $79.80.
Sweet. All right. Well, I'm going to agree with you, which is maybe a bad sign. That's, well, sort of, kind of. I think it's going to be a close fair going on in New York tonight. Very, very close. Which is why I'm going to take the New York Islanders plus 1.5 goals at minus 240. It's a steep price, but, I mean, goes to overtime. I got it. If they're at any point in the lead, if they're even down a goal, I'm kind of covered there. So, I mean, other than that little scenario where they get blown out like we saw in Game 2, I'm kind of covered on that one. I'm going to parlay it with Vegas coming back in the series tomorrow at minus 180. So those together get me a plus 120. Am I going to push all my chips on the table on this one? Yeah, I'm fucking feeling reckless. Let's do it. All $100 on that to win $120. So
reckless Mick is the best Mick. There's never been a doubt in my mind. This is when Mick's at his best. Let's be a little fucking reckless here.
Yeah,
I dig that.
Fucking do it. So I really like that play tonight. I think it's going to be a close affair. The Islanders aren't going to lose by, I mean, like maybe a late empty net goal, but it's going to be a close affair right down to the end there. And then I do like Vegas coming back and kind of evening up the series. So I think there's just a lot of talent on the ice that's not putting the puck in the net. And Again, you can only get outshot 21-3 so often before the puck doesn't start going, like, you know.
Yep. We'll see what happens. They're either going to go down in flames or come back guns a-blazing.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be any in between.
No, and I almost wonder, like, what's that? Minus... Are they going by 2 goals? Am I that confident? What happens if we... 2 plus? Nah, we'll just leave it. We'll leave it at what I said, so... That's it. It's my better advice. Well thought out. Just threw some shit at the wall. That's how I roll.
You know what? You do all right with your poop slinging those, so...
Yeah. Not bad at all. All right. Well, we talked about it last week. We teased it at the start of the show. We're now time. We've got our segments. We did our headlines. We've got our fantasy. We've got our gambling. It is now time for an age-old classic. We used to do this a lot, and then we stopped for some reason. Probably because there was just, like, more quality hockey to talk about this year.
Maybe we were just paying closer attention where we actually thought we had stuff to talk about instead of just playing games with each other.
Well, I mean... Yeah, that's true. Because, I mean, like, lots of times we would just be like, man, Vancouver sucks. Ottawa sucks. The Flames, we don't like the Flames. Oh, this is what's going on with the Oilers. And that'd be, like, the whole show. So, I mean, we probably gave a little bit better quality content this year.
But it came at the expense of games. And hopefully that's not to say that our quality, our analysis or content is lacking. But with fewer hockey games, there's more time for fun stuff like Canada Puck Jeopardy.
Boom! So I put together 3 categories, 3 options. We got $100, $200, $300. We're going to see how much money Grant can walk away with today. And it's not just a traditional hockey. So as you can see on the YouTube video, I've got it nice up on my Word document there. I couldn't figure out how to make it nicer, so... Any producers out there in the world, you can actually even see, like, the bigger Skype behind my picture here. Like, you can kind of see Grant's head over here. Let's pick apart our videos. That seems like a fun thing to do. I don't know what I'm doing. Come on, give me a break. Anyways, our 3 categories on this great edition of Canada Puck Jeopardy is a Father's Day edition. How exciting! So we've got our first category, Father's Day. The NHL via Canada Puck lore. So that is players that have crossed our path somewhere along our lives. And NHL hockey wives.
Oh, man. This is the type of content we need. God damn. Okay, you know what? And I'm assuming typical, we got $1, $2, $3, $4, $500 questions?
I have 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, 1, 2, and 3. All right, you know what? I'm excited. Let's give the listeners and viewers a little insight into our lives. And I will take NHL Canada Puck lore for 100.
All right, now, so this is, again, lore from mine and Grant's realm of friends or something like that I've sculpted that somehow, it helped us turn us into the people we are. So, for $100, NHL via Canada Puck lore. This center is currently playing for the New York Islanders, and rumor has it, Grant once attended a hockey tryout with him.
Wow. I was just telling Anastasia the story the other day. This is Travis Zajac. So Travis Zajac and I tried out for the Salmon Arm Silverbacks together. Jesus, what was that? Oh, man. That was a long time ago.
Well,
obviously one of us did well for themselves and the other hasn't, but you know what? Travis Zajac does have a chance to win the Stanley Cup, so he could catch up with me.
There you go. So congratulations, Travis. $100. Ding, ding, ding. I'm just going to write in the right answers when you get them, and I'll put a big X on the screen when you don't get them, and we'll keep track of it that way. So, I mean, you can't see what I'm doing. Maybe I could screen share with you, but whatever.
Nah. Let's do this category for 200.
All right. This D-man once switched his number to 64, a callback to an old video game system.
Shit, man. Making me think. That sounds like a $300 question. D-man switching to 64. So obviously that's Nintendo 64. A kid growing up playing N64. Yeah, I'm drawing an absolute blank right now. 64. Who's somebody around our age who wore 64 and plays defense? Is he a skilled guy? No, I wouldn't picture a skilled guy wearing 64. No. I'm just gonna. I know that this isn't wrong. This is wrong, but I'm gonna say Jay Rosehill.
Oh, that is incorrect. The correct answer was the Commodore 64 is what we were thinking. So we wanted the Mike Commodore. I randomly ran into an old acquaintance of ours at a Flames game after a Columbus Blue Jackets were in town, and he invited me to go hang out with Mike Commodore himself to have some beers. I turned it down because I had other commitments, and I was like, that's kind of cool.
Having beers, I feel like if there's one NHL guy you want to have beers with, it's probably Mike Commodore.
Oh, I definitely fucked up. So all right, so that's the first X on the board. Sometimes we play to 3 X's, but we'll see. Maybe Grant can run the whole table. So,
well, I hope we don't get there. Set 9 questions. Well, that's basically how I got through university. Yeah. So 6 out of 9. Anyways, let's do the same category. 300.
All right. So for $300, a friend of ours was once quoted as saying this Pittsburgh Penguin D-man wasn't talented enough to tie his own skates. He went on to win 2 Stanley Cups in 2009 and 2018.
Pittsburgh D-man couldn't tie his own skates. So obviously he wasn't around for 2015.
Nope, he definitely was playing for a different franchise. So.
And who won it in 2018? Was that the Caps year?
It was the Capitals.
That's got to be was Justin Schultz around in 2009? I don't think he was. God damn. Who was the other guy? Oh, God. This is going to drive me crazy.
All right.
I can picture him.
Do we allow... if you could draw him... I'll get a picture on the screen, and if you can draw a picture of his face, will you actually... We'll allow that, so...
I picture him with long straw man hair. Or not long, but like...
Yeah.
You know...
Yeah. He grew a good beard. Really nice beard.
What was his... Oh... I think his name starts with an M. No. All right. I give up. Fuck it.
Ooh, that's the second X on the board. That's not good. The answer we were looking for was Brooks Orpik was not talented enough to tie his own skates. Shit.
That wasn't even who I was thinking. Let me just... Yeah.
All right.
Capitals D-men. Who's the other...
Oh, yeah. What was his name? I think I know the guy you're thinking of. Because he was in Pittsburgh and he went to Capitals. I feel like he was also maybe an Islander at some point. Travis Hamonic? No. It's the other guy. Not Travis Hamonic, but the other D-man for the Islanders that left that organization.
You know what? I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way, and that is I'm going to connect some dots. And that is, I know Alex Ovechkin obviously spent his whole career with Washington. It doesn't look like he played this season, so I'm going to go back to 2018.
All right.
And I'm going to look at that exact roster. Matt Niskanen, that's who I was thinking.
That's the other guy. That's not the Travis Hamonic. That's the other guy. Huh, cool.
I knew it'd start with an M, though.
It's close. So close. Shit. All right. Okay, we still have Father's Day and NHL Hockey Wives.
I know that Hockey Wives aren't going to be my forte, I don't think. So let's stick with Father's Day, see how long I can stay alive. For 100.
All right, so the father of this current NHL... this father of this famous current NHLer was famous for the jump he did when he scored a goal. Go, Leafs, go!
It was Foligno.
That's the answer. Yay!
What did they call it? He had a funny... It was like... He had a name for the jump.
Yeah, I just... Yeah, I was like, all right, there we go. I'll throw an easy one for you, because maybe you'd get stumped somewhere.
All right. Back in this. What am I? 2 for 5.
Yep.
Only down... What is that?
$300.
$300.
There you go. Still alive. You want to stay in the same category, 200?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. If you add them together, this father-son duo have the most NHL points.
If you add them together, and I'm assuming
I think it's like the father and son pair that have scored the most points. Like you add up all the father and son pairs is what I was going for. I had trouble wording that one, and I can't read either. So
yeah, that's like that tricky Gretzky brother question. Like these brothers have combined for the most points in the NHL. Wayne Gretzky and his brother who scored 1 point.
So it's not the it's of all father son combos. This father and son have scored the most.
You know what? I know that this is a bit of a crapshoot, but I'm going to say Gordie Howe and Mark Howe.
Ooh, yikes. No. I was looking for Brett and Bobby Hull.
Please tell me Gordie and Mark are somewhere on that list.
I think yeah, they're close. They're definitely close, but...
All right. So, down 500. I still got time to come back. So,
I think so.
Let's finish off father-son for 300.
All right. I had no idea that this player's, who signed a 13-year deal with the Wild in 2012, his father also played in the league.
So, that's gotta be... Was that Ryan Suter who signed 13 years?
Is that your final answer?
No, it's not. Not based on that face. Who signed the 13-year contract? I thought it was Ryan Suter signed that god-awful one. Who else has played? Like, when I think of... It's hard to think of talented Minnesota Wild hockey players. Let's fucking cut me some slack on that one.
Oh, I didn't say he's talented. I just said he signed a 13-year deal.
13 years. Oh, man, I got to go back even further. Because that was before they implemented the cap circumvention rules even. I don't know why I keep stumbling over DiPietro. I know DiPietro signed his god-awful contract with the Islanders. Forward, defenseman, goalie. Give me a hint. It was a forward.
He was a forward, yeah. He was once teammates with Travis Zajac?
Okay, so... I don't know why I just automatically went to Ilya Kovalchuk. Oh, God, where was Travis Zajac before? Or no, it was New Jersey. You know what? I give up. Oh. Or no. Yeah, I give up.
So there was 2 players that signed that summer with $13 million deals. Ryan Sutter was one, and I thought the last name might get you on that one, but I was looking for Zach Parise.
Oh, God damn it.
Apparently his father also played. I had no idea. All right, so Grant, you were down, let's see, 6, 10. You're down $800. There's still $600 on the board. So let's see if you can only lose $200 and have a respectable outing with our last category, NHL Hockey Wives, for $100. Name the...
you know what? This is my time to shine. I believe in myself. Let's do this. Okay. Start at the top.
All right. So name the wife of the Edmonton Oilers head coach. I bet her burgers were never frozen.
Wendy.
We did it. He got one.
I can answer the freebies about my life and burgers. You made it, Grant.
We got Nick Foligno, too. All right. Well, let's see if we can. We'll go back to the old Pittsburgh Penguin well and make Grant hate his life. So, Catherine, for $200, Catherine Laflamme is the wife of this D-man who won multiple cups alongside Sidney Crosby.
So, I'm not going to overthink this. And that is, Laflamme is a French name. Letang is a French name. The Flame and the Tang. I'm going to say Chris Letang.
Well done. Look at that. Chris Letang. Oh, look at that. Oh, he's got another name. Just have X's. Oh, yeah, that's good. This is respectable. If you get this next one, I think you had a respectable game of Canada Puck. So, for $300, last question on the board. Marie-Pierre Morin is the only wife that appeared on all 3 seasons of the show, Hockey Wives. Name her husband, who played for Calgary, Arizona, the New York Rangers, Montreal, and Vancouver. What a rush.
Oh, damn. There's a lot of hints in that clue, and I'm going to be very disappointed in myself if I don't talk myself through this. So, who started in Calgary, went to Arizona, ended up in New York before Montreal and Vancouver? Obviously not a skilled player. Can you give me one hint?
Yeah.
What year did they retire?
You know what? We're gonna play a fun game. So Grant can't see my screen right now. I'm gonna pull up his. What do we want? Stats, Hockey DB, maybe.
Hockey DB is easily the best one to navigate.
All right. So you can all see at home the name of the player, and we're gonna see if we can find a stat that works for Grant. So he played for the London Knights. That doesn't help us. Let's see
what year was he drafted? Give me that much.
He was in the third round, 70th overall in the 04 draft. That's not going to get you anywhere. He finished with a career 115 points in 486 games played, but he had 1,036 penalty minutes. He stopped playing in 2016, and he was with Vancouver.
Okay, so 2004. That was actually the Travis Zajac draft year. Chris Chucka was drafted by the Flames in the first round.
I mean, I realize you know all these stats, but they're not getting you anywhere into this question. If I go to his Wikipedia page and scroll up and down, he has no achievements page. Some guys say they won this award, or they did this. He did nothing. So
he accomplished none of that.
Yeah.
I know that this isn't right because I know Rob Schremp. I think he was drafted earlier, but London Knights, I automatically thought Robbie Schremp. But I know. So this is it sounds like if you play hockey in London, you're probably a highly touted young prospect who fizzled. Granted, getting drafted in the third round isn't a free shot, but he did obviously reasonably well for himself. Who grew up fighting in all those towns? I'm just taking a shot here. I know it's not right, but Sean Avery.
That is incorrect. The correct answer was Brandon Prust.
Brandon Prust.
I was like, we need a tough question out there. I mean, the other ones were kind of simple, but so there you go. So Grant finished in an abysmal. He got 1, 2, 3, 4 questions right for a total of $500. But unfortunately, he was down to -1, -4, -$800.
Shit, man. This is a stupid game anyways. This is why we scrapped it.
Oh, yeah, that's why we stopped it.
Well, that was fun. We got to do that more often. I like thinking of obscure hockey fans or stats. And Brandon Prust never even crossed my mind.
Again, his wife seemed like she was really popular on the show. I was like, oh, maybe you randomly knew something about the show.
I didn't even know Hockey Wives was a show. I'm rewatching Game of Thrones for the second time, and this is between rewatching Community, The Office, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So, you now know my rotation for TV shows. I don't have time for much else.
Pretty solid. I mean, the only reason I knew it was a thing was because one of the girls on the show, I think it was Barbara, Jason LaBarbera's wife, used to work out at our gym or something like that. My boss had a real fetish for her. And I was like, I mean, she was pretty, but not that pretty. And I mean, Jason LaBarbera sucked. It's not like it was Jonathan Quick's wife or, you know what I mean? Some big name star. I'm like, Jason LaBarbera? I was like, I don't fucking care about Jason LaBarbera.
I love how that there's a relationship between attractiveness and talent. You're like, the most talented NHLers must have the sexiest wives, or their equivalent.
Yeah.
That's the line that's been drawn. All right. So, you know what? I'm in the giving mood. And that is, we cannot wrap up a Canada Puck podcast without our Babe of the Week. Mick, you left up to my own devices. You said, you know what, Grant, I want you to choose whatever you want to happen in the last segment. So I'm going to give you an option for what you want to choose. Do you want $1 million, a million follower Babe of the Week, or do you want a more homegrown 20,000 follower?
Let's go 20,000, 100%.
All right. This is a volleyball star from the University of North Dakota. And, her dancing videos, I was just absolutely smitten. So, Peyton Sewell, Peyton Sewell, Sewell, UNDVB number 6 in the playbook, but number 1 in the Canada Puck Podcast Babe of the Week charts. Peyton Sewell, you are our Babe of the Week. Schwing!
She would make my Mount Rushmore. Is Mount Rushmore in North Dakota?
I think so.
Hey.
But honestly, just go to her videos. Don't scroll right over to the video section, and there's these dancing videos. It's 9 down. Those dance moves just get me every time. Oh, Peyton. Yeah. Oh shit, shake that ass. Yeah, mom move it yeah.
Grant's obviously watched this with your device.
I have probably contributed 100,000 of whatever 100,024 views she has.
That ain't bad. And Peyton Sewell, you are Babe of the Week. Showing. Nice. There we go. So that was another good show in the books. Boo, boo, boo.
Boo, boo, boo.
Back next week. We might be talking about Stanley Cup Finals next week.
If we want to talk about Montreal as a Stanley Cup finalist, we better be talking about the Stanley Cup Finals next week, because Game 7, I think, would be Saturday night, and if it gets that far, advantage Vegas.
Yeah, but I think I would love a Game 7 on a Saturday night, so, fingers crossed.
Make sure I'm not lying to you. I hope I just didn't get you false hope. Oh, shit.
I checked earlier, and I think we're good.
There's some nonsense going on in this Germany-Portugal game for all of our football. 4-2.
For Portugal?
Germany.
Yes. I lost a bunch of money on France earlier, so I was really hedging my bets with, I'm like, come on, Germany, you gotta help me out of this one, buddy.
Chase.
Yep, pretty much. Nice. All right, well, get off of here, watch into that game. Because a 4-2 soccer game, no shenanigans are going to happen in the last 10 minutes of it, so.
No. All right. Well, this was fun as always. We'll see everybody next week.
Bye. Party on, Grant.
Party on, Mick.
Bye.
Fucked up. Bye, guys.
Bye.